Please welcome Rabbi Andrea Goldstein. She has served as Rabbi of Congregation Sher Emeth since 1998. She has made the call for justice and equality, along with the search for spiritual connection, focal points of her rabbinate. Rabbi Goldstein.
Hi. So I was thinking about sort of what to share with everyone tonight in terms of sort of what brought me to this place. And in some ways, my story is not incredibly extraordinary. I grew up in a home where Judaism was really just sort of a part and parcel of who we were. I grew up in Cincinnati at the very beginning of my childhood with my parents and my maternal grandparents, where we celebrated Shabbat dinner with them in my memory, almost every Friday night. And I also had this very powerful connection to my grandmother, and I have many memories of standing in a line with my grandmother, it went more like this, because my grandmother was little, and then my mother, and then me, before the candle, sort of bringing the light of Shabbat into our hearts and into our homes. I had a pretty potent imagination as a child, and it was very, very, very easy for me to trust with all my heart that God was a part of my life and was close to me and was protecting me, was a spirit and a presence upon which I could rely. And I also have these very powerful memories of when I was very small, going to Adath Israel congregation in Cincinnati with my grandparents, especially my grandfather. And I have to be honest, I don't really remember anything that the rabbi ever said, But I remember seats that were really soft, and I remember feeling loved, and I remember, butter cookies afterwards, and, that were sweet. And I remember being, I would say in the middle, because, the services are long. We know, you get a little ootsy. And when you're little, and I remember, asking if I could, go to the bathroom, mostly because I really liked that click-clacky sound that the patent leathers made, on the tile. But, as I was thinking back, I was also remembering that, I was pretty little, and I always went by myself. And that was because the synagogue was a really safe place to be. I grew up with the synagogue in my heart as this place of goodness. And I really believed all the time, for a long, long, long time, really long time, that the synagogue was the place where people always were their best selves. And we moved when I was 7 years old here to St. Louis, and I became a part of Sher Emeth, and Rabbi Talvi was one of the rabbis who was working at Sher Emeth at the time. And though intellectually Sally Priesand became a rabbi when I was 2, it was Rabbi Talvi who taught me that this idea was reality, that it was not just an idea, that I wanted to be just as beautiful and just as wise and just as loving a presence and space. And I sort of continued along this path. I've been told that at my bat mitzvah, Rabbi Stiffman said I should become a rabbi, although I've been told that story. I don't know that it sunk in quite then. I didn't hear God call to me to take this path. In fact, my mother, who's here, will tell you that I was studying at Northwestern, and all my friends had these grand plans of what they were doing after graduation, and I didn't quite know. And we went to Arby's, I think, and my mom helped me make this list. And I did decide to apply to rabbinic school, but for it's 5 years of schooling, and for 3.5 years, I would tell people I'm just trying it out. I wasn't totally committed for quite a while. I loved the study. I loved being with the texts and sort of losing myself there and immersing myself. But it was a little bit later that I discovered that it turns out it was a little bit better when I added the people to the text and the people. And I would also say that there has been so much on this journey that has been unexpected, and things that could not be taught until they were a part of my life. But the best, I would agree with Rabbi Talvi that the privilege that I feel and the blessing that I feel and the gratitude that I feel that people welcome us into their lives at these most amazing and profound moments is constantly startling in such a beautiful, beautiful way. And I didn't know until I started doing this work that to become a rabbi in a congregation and to have children and a family, that the congregation takes those children and makes them their own. And I feel so grateful that my children understand what it means to feel a sense of connection to community. I'm very honored and grateful to be here tonight, and I'm grateful every day for the work that I'm able to do. And that's it.